Hello friends, I am driving. It's November 4th, 2021, and I am making this quick video for anybody who missed this morning. So this morning we were at Mops and we were meeting together and doing a service project. So we made homeless bags. So we gathered as a group, everybody contributed to a bunch of backpacks, and then we are all able to put things in them, and then they'll be distributed to various different individuals who we can bless with those. So it was a really awesome opportunity to do that as a group and just love anyone who might be blessed by those. So I'm super thankful to have had the opportunity to share this morning just a few little things that our family has done with our kids, even when they were really young, and in relationship to service. So I am, most of you know this, but I'm a mom to four. Our oldest is about to turn 20. Then we have an 18-year-old. There are two daughters and two sons, 16 and 14. So I am going to start with a story. I'm going to throw back 10 years, 2011. So it was about this time of year, and maybe a hair later, like later in November, and all these beautiful trees that we're seeing their color change. The sad thing is they don't stay beautiful. Those leaves fall off. And we became aware, Paul, my husband, and I became aware of some widows in the area, in the community, who needed help with leaf breaking. And so we decided we should figure out a way to help. And we were teaching 9th and 10th grade Sunday school at that point, and we decided to call on those teenagers, and they were up for it. It was a really nice group of kids, and they said, yep, we're in, let's do it. So we picked this Saturday to go rake leaves for a few different people. And typically, you know, as parents of, we're throwing back 10 years. So I just told you the numbers, 20 to 14. So we're jumping back 10 years. Very easy math. I like easy math. 10 was our oldest, 4 was our youngest. And many people would have the conversation of like, okay, we're going to go leaf raking. Who is going to take our children? Maybe a friend, maybe a sister, maybe parents will take them for the day. For Paul and I, that conversation never happened. It was just a given that they were coming with us. So we made sure everybody had a rake that they could manage and some gloves that would fit them. And I'm a firm believer in this time of year of like hand warmers, toe warmers, foot warmers, body warmers, any kind of warmers you could imagine to keep everybody toasty. So we loaded up those things. I made taco soup in a big crock pot for everyone. It's just like a soup that you put a bunch of stuff on, like taco kind of stuff, and you eat it with chips. It's not even really like soup. Anyway, we go on this adventure. We break leaves. It's a pretty fun day, and in my opinion, we were able to, I don't remember how many people we were able to go out and help that day, but a number of people. And we ended at a woman's house named Marie Allen. And Marie is someone we knew her son. Her son was our professor, at one of our favorite professors at Cairn University. He was also an interim pastor at Fellowship Bible Church far before Paul and I were there, and even before Pastor Phil was there at the church. So we went to Marie Allen's house in Woodbury. It was this beautiful, big, old Tudor-style home with a corner lot, quite a few leaves, beautiful trees, and we raked and got to visit with her a little bit, but she's just quite a character, lots of personality. But the backside of that story is that after that, Marie Allen asked me, and she had to ask a few times, she says, I would like you to come to my house. I want to buy the kids McDonald's. You go pick up the McDonald's, I will pay for it. You bring the kids, we will eat McDonald's together. Okay, Marie, let's do it. So we eventually get it on the schedule, we make it happen. McDonald's is kind of a big thing for our kids, especially some of them. Going to fast food, not necessarily, but McDonald's is not a place that our family usually frequents. So much so that about this age, Ty said very emphatically that he would, at this age, meaning he was about 6, that he would, as soon as he turned 18, he was going to eat McDonald's for every meal, and I could not stop him. To which I said to myself, that is fine. If that is your rebellion at 18, I will take it. Anyway, we get McDonald's, we go, we eat, sit down and eat with Marie, and Marie just has like this house full of cows. She loves cows. Not real cows, we're not a dairy farm, but like cows are on every wall. She loves cows. So we get to meet all of her cows that she has and just enjoy and laugh with her. She walks us through the house and tells us stories about things in the house, and we just have this really beautiful time connecting with Marie Allen. And she has passed away, but I just will always remember that fondly. And I will tell you that though we have served over the years, and though we find great joy in serving, we are not perfect. We are sometimes grumpy and we don't always want to do it. So I just told you my perspective on this story, but I will tell you that I called one of my daughters and said, what's your memory about this? And she says, well, I just remember it was really cold. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it was. And we ate taco soup in the back of the minivan. I'm like, yeah, we did. And I asked her if she remembered going to Marie's later, and she did. And I said to her, I said, do you think that event in your childhood had anything to do with like infusing in you sort of a desire to serve others? And this was her reply. And I did record it, but she won't let me share that. But I can tell you. She just said, well, I don't think it was that event. It was about consistency. She's like, you and Dad were constantly serving both in and out of the church, and you took us to everything, and I hated it when I was a kid. She's like, until I was about 16, and then all of a sudden I got it. So that was her response. Ty and Javen really have no memory of it. Ty remembered the cows and going to her house and having McDonald's a little bit, but didn't remember the event where we went to rake. But Dara, she's our second daughter, she said, I do remember that event. Like, it was fun. I remembered this. She's like, I remembered there was a bunch of bigger teenagers, and I thought they were so fun and so cool to hang out with. It's just funny now because she's like, oh yeah, they were in 9th and 10th grade, and that's super young to her now that she's in college. So it's so interesting to hear their perspectives. But the point in sharing this story is that serving others is something that obviously is easier caught than taught. And I want to give you a few ideas of practical ways to intentionally work to infuse service as a part of just your children's way of living. So I have 3 things. One is believe they can do it. So if Paul and I had said like, oh, we are going to go rake leaves, I don't think our 4-year-old's going to be able to do that. Then no, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And I will tell you, one of our daughters is like, oh yeah, I remember. I had to grab the rake from him and tell him how to do it. So that's typical, but siblings there. But they learn, right? They learn how to do it, and they can do it. They can be contributors. They can be faithful in helping to serve. So I think the most important thing, honestly, is to believe your kids can do it. Believe they can contribute, and be okay with their inadequacies. The second thing, hold on. Before I move on, I'm going to try my best, because obviously I'm driving. I'm going to try my best to remember, I'm not going to get it word for word, but the verse here is 1 Timothy 4:12, and it is in the context of like teaching, but I think that it applies here as well. It says, let no one despise your youth. Instead, for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity. So I just think that our children can be examples. They can do it. We simply need to give them the opportunity. So I think that that's super important to keep in mind, is that whether it's you creating an opportunity for service outside the home or giving them opportunities to serve at home, I think that's our job, is to give them opportunities to do it. And there are lots of opportunities. Some of them are a bit more sort of in the background, or doing something and giving it away to someone that maybe you might not ever meet or see. And I think those are great, and we absolutely need to do those. I think it's also important to find ways to give in a very personal way, where you are going out meeting a need, finding a need and meeting a need in someone's life. And you're going to become aware of those needs when you're looking for them. It's not hard to find them. And saying, okay, I saw this need, let's figure out a way to do it. I have this very specific recollection not too long ago. After the tornadoes hit in our area, we did our first Sunday, we did a very shortened service on Sunday morning. And then anyone who wanted to, and anyone who was at the service, put their gloves on, and people brought tools to help, but we all just walked down the street, walked down Jackson Road, and helped various families do work and help them clean up. And I have this very distinct memory of walking down Jackson Road and looking at a child who was about 9 or 10, and he had work gloves on, and those work gloves had been used. They actually, not like worn through, but like you could see that there was wear on the gloves, like not holes, but like complete, like fingertips had been, working. And I just I had one of my daughters with me, and I was like, look at his gloves. And it got super giddy inside, because here's a living proof of a young kid, 9 or 10, who has been working hard enough in his life that his gloves look worn out, and they grow out of those gloves quickly. So it just made me super excited to see that, and sort of a moment of just joy at seeing them set the example, the younger ones. So I thought that was pretty cool. But giving your kids opportunity and the patience to bring them along. So there's an idea of tomato staking. That think about it, tomato plant grows up, starts small and grows up. It needs a stake in the ground, and then it needs ties to sort of bring that tomato plant to grow up and safely. And I just think that picture in the way that we can raise our children is so beneficial, because when we are out working, we do have the ability to bring them right alongside us, and that's how they learn. That's how they're able to do it. I think one thing is kind of important, because sometimes you might see a tomato plant and it would fall over a little bit, and then you just have to grab a tie and you tie it around. I think another thing that's important with opportunity is that it gives them a chance to fail. Children need a chance to fail in a safe way. They need a chance to fail because they need to know that they need to learn. So I have this very vivid memory of visiting my sister-in-law, Paul's sister, out in Chicago. And at one point in the day, we were getting ready to go somewhere, and she said to her son, who was 2, "Go put your shoes on." And I'm like, "What? He's 2. He can't put his shoes on. Why is she telling him to put his shoes on?" And he ran right over, picked up his shoes, and yeah, I was right. He couldn't actually put his shoes on. They were ties, so he couldn't tie his shoes. But he did everything he could to put his shoes on by himself. And what happens when you give them jobs that are beyond their scope is that it helps them be motivated to pay attention when it's time to learn. Number one. Number two, it empowers them to know that they can do it, that you believe in them. Like, that 2-year-old puts his shoes on now, no problem. He's not 2 anymore. But he had to learn to put his shoes on, to tie his shoes. And so giving your kids opportunities, and specifically opportunities to fail in a safe environment, is incredibly important. The last thing I think is equally as important as the other two is joy. So if you set out to do service and you are doing it to check the box, or you're doing it with complacency, or you're doing it because it is just something you feel like you need to do, they will know. And they might make it through, they might complain a little bit, but the chances of them being excited or wanting to do it again are very, very limited. When they see your joy in serving and your connections to other people and providing for other people, they catch it. They catch that joy, and they see beyond the hardness, whether it's the cold or just the heaviness or the difficulty that the hunger, whatever it might be that they encounter. If they see your joy in the opportunity to serve, they absolutely will catch that and have that for the next time. So to wrap things up, I just want to say one other thing. I'm going to give a few examples here, simple ones, but I just encourage you to have patience in this process. Don't expect them to change overnight. Don't expect them to respond well. They're not going to like it. We aren't by nature someone who's like, I want to, to go do this thing that isn't, watch a video or a movie or play video games or play with toys. Like, the things that they're naturally interested in. They're not going to want to do those things necessarily. Sometimes they do. And there may be some things that they do actually enjoy and want to do. But I encourage you to have patience in the process, whether it be going out to serve somewhere or simply like having patience in giving the opportunities. For example, your 6-year-old wants to make a cake. You know that your 6-year-old making a cake means a lot more work for you. It means a messy kitchen. It means a this. It means a that. And there might be times when you have to say, you know what, not right now. That is a great idea. We are going to do that. We're going to do it Tuesday at, in the middle of the morning, or as soon as you get home from school on Tuesday. We don't have anything that night. Setting aside a time. If the answer is no for right now, give them a time that you can be okay with the kitchen being messy, because the 6-year-old, when you say yes to making the cake, whatever the equivalent is to that, when they are 12, they will say to you, hey Mom, is it okay if I make butterscotch for this thing we're going to over the weekend? And you're like, yes, it's okay. Absolutely. That's amazing. I will get whatever you need to do that. So know that those moments that will mess up your kitchen and mess up your life and make everything take longer, they give back tenfold in the future. The same thing goes with yard work or with mowing the lawn. And the thing is, you can't just say go in the kitchen and make the cake and walk away and work on your own project. You can infuse in them independence and say, yes, you may bake a cake. And you might help them pull the ingredients together, make sure they can read the directions, and then maybe go in the other room where you can keep checking in and keep tomato staking, right? Keep saying, okay, that was good, now this. And you're alongside them, not doing it for them, not necessarily hovering. I mean, if there are 3 or 4, you're probably right there with them. But as they get a little older, let them go ahead and try it and fail and make a terrible cake. But be nearby and be aware of how it's going. Same thing with mowing the lawn. Same thing with, whatever project or thing they're interested in and they want to do. Encourage that. Find a way to give them the opportunity to do it. Find a way to plan also as a family and serve someone else. And give them even if it's bringing a meal, say, okay, we're going to make the meal together. And doing it together gives them a real tangible connection to that service. Not just like, oh, mom made a meal that was really nice, dropped it off for someone else, and we're having hot dogs and macaroni and cheese for dinner. So, not that that's bad, not that I've never done that, but just know that including that in whatever that service is will, and the joy you have in doing it will give back dividends. We're not perfect. Oftentimes that meal that you made got made in a rush and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm pulling this off, but I'm very close or have lost my cool. It's okay, forgive yourself and work towards the next project, the next place that you want to serve. So I just want to encourage you. The last thing I did was have everyone take a piece of paper, fold it into quadrants that represent as many children as you have in your care, and then write that child's name in however you folded it. Like I would fold it in 4, you might fold it in 3 or 2 or just 1, and write the child's name, and then the things that you think they're either already good at, enjoy doing, could be good at with your help, the things they're asking to do. And this could be related to just doing things at home and getting things done, but it also could be related to think about things that would be meaningful for them that they can do as acts of service for real people in your lives. And everybody has them. And it may be a grandparent or a great-grandparent. It may be someone who you just know is really struggling right now and needs extra love. And you're like, you know what, we're as a family going to decide to love them in an extra special way and figure out as a family how to do that. One of the things I have enjoyed doing around the holidays is picking someone that we are friends, that is a friend of mine, that isn't expecting a gift from me. And they maybe aren't especially needy. They're not like, I'm not talking about a family who's in need. I think that that's also a wonderful thing to do. But I like to find one person that just isn't expecting a gift and pay attention and surprise them around the holidays with a gift. So that's my love language, just truth be told, and an idea. But I just mostly encourage you to really take the time and think about what are ideas that you can do individually to encourage each of your children with their own unique gifts, how they can serve, but then also had them flip over and on the back side of the paper write ideas of ways that you could serve as a family. And there are plenty of opportunities out there, but I do encourage you to think about real people either in your life or a few degrees away. So a friend who knows a friend, or an organization that's aware of a need, whether it be a church or a nonprofit organization. I think that that's a great way to do it. So that's all. I'm signing off. You guys are amazing, and I look forward to connecting with you all